Hello everyone, welcome to the online video lectures on project management course. Now today's topic is project human resource management. In the last lecture, we have already discussed about the keys to managing the people, the importance of the human resource management, and the different theories, motivation theories, the different what are the influence factor, what is a power. So these things we have already discussed. Now the today's point is developing the first process of the human resource management. So the first process is developing the human resource plan. What is planning process? Overall planning process is nothing but it usually tells us that how are you execute the rest of the processes, means planning process in a given knowledge area. So in this knowledge area, in this human resource area, how are you acquire the team, develop the team, manage the team need to be planned in advance. So here to develop a human resource plan for project, he in this process they identify and document the project roles, responsibilities, skills and reporting relationships. Doing planning is nothing but we need first, while doing planning we need to know what is resource required. We need to know what is overall project management philosophy of this project, what kind of life cycle we are going to use. Do we need a continuous one set of the manpower, or do we need a subset of people for only given duration? So in order to plan, we have to plan all these things. So in order to plan, let us first look at the input information we need while developing the human resource plan. The inputs are, we need the organizational chart for the project, the detailed information on the roles and responsibilities and staffing management, or the organizational planning. We need the documents. So before creating an organizational chart or any part of the human resource plan for project, before this, before identifying, before documenting, the first thing is the top management and the project managers must identify what type of the people the project needs, what type of the resource they need to succeed the project. If the key to success, for example, if the key to success is lies on the need the Java programmers, then we have to find, or the top management and project manager have to find such a people, or they should plan which reflect that need. These are the first basic thing they have to do. So overall what the planning says that they must identify the project needs, they must do the planning to acquire to reflect those needs. So output and process includes, or we can say that the tools and techniques are required to plan the other processes are the project organizational chart, the definition, work definition and assignment process, the responsibility assignment matrices, and resource histograms. So in that, the first tool and technique is nothing but the project organizational chart. Now what is project organizational charts? In this tool and technique, we have to discuss what type of the project organizational structure we are going to follow in this project. What do we expect from individual roles? What kind of responsibility they will be having? So the project organizational chart, this shows that their roles and reporting relationship. Get it? What is the what we are going to see in this tool and technique? We first from this technique we get that what kind of project organizational chart we are following to while implementing a project. Before implementing, before developing any project, we must know what organizational chart of the project, to whom we have to report, what is the role of each and every one in the project, what is the role of each and every one in the organizations. Okay, so it actually shows the roles and reporting relationship between the employees. Okay, so from this chart we get all these things. So the project team members, as we know that the project team members come from the different backgrounds and it possesses a wide variety of skills. So it can be very difficult to manage such a diverse group of people. So it is important to provide a clear organizational structure for project. So they can understand the roles of each and everyone and they can understand to whom we have to report. This is a basic requirement behind this tool and technique. So after identifying the important skills and the type of the people needed to staff a project, role of the project manager that they should work with the top management and project team members, and they have to create an organizational chart for project so that each and everyone involved in project development, the people involved in the project development can identify their roles, can identify their responsibilities, and they can know to whom they have to report. Okay, this is about the project organizational chart. This is a one example of the sample organizational chart for the large IT projects. It is also important to follow a work definition and assignment process. Means what? To whom you are assigning a which work. Okay, so first you know the work definition and then you can follow the assignment process. You can assign the that particular work to a particular people or to particular employee. Defining and assigning work that consists of the four major steps. How to define the work and how to assign the work to individual. So it consists of the four major steps. Finalizing the project requirements, defining how the work will be accomplished, breaking down the work into manageable elements, and assigning the work responsibility. This is a one sample or this is a diagram for the work definition and assignment process. This says that the work definition and assignment process is actually carried out during the proposal and startup phase of the project. Before developing any project, you have to first define the work. This process is iterative. It means it often takes more than one pass. The request for proposal RFP or a draft contract often provides the basis for defining and finalizing the work requirements which are then documented in a final contract and technical baseline. So before finalizing a contract or before finalizing a work definition, the input to this is the request for proposal, the RFP, or a draft contract which provides the definition of the overview of your project, the overview of your work, and then you have to finalize the work. If the project does not require an RFP, then the internal project charter and the scope statements, they are provide the basis for defining and finalizing the work requirements. If you do not have the request for proposal, then you can use the project charter or the scope statements, and from that you can get that you can define the work or and you can prepare a final document for the work definition and you can finalize the work requirements. Now once the project team leaders, the project manager and the project team have to broken down the work into manageable elements. Once you define the work, then that work is broken down into manageable elements. The project manager assign the work to the organizational units. So what it means that the project team leaders decides how to do the work. Once you define the work, what it means, once you finalizing the work requirements, what it means after finalizing the requirements, the project team leaders have to decide how to do that particular work. Should the work be broken down into manageable pieces or not? This should be decided. Once the project team has decided that, then it develops the work breakdown structure, WBS, which we have already discussed in previous points. Okay, then you have to establish the manageable elements of the work. The team then develops the activity definition for the work. in that work what kind of activities you have to perform. Then the team develops this activity definition of that particular work we involved in each activity on the WBS. On the WBS, we are defining, we are uh, establishing the manageable elements of work. Then each and individual work you have to define the activity. What kind of activity you have to perform for that particular work. The last step is then you can assign the work now. Means what? First you have to define the work. You have to finalize the work requirements. What kind of work you have to perform, what kind of requirements you need to develop that work. Then you divide that work into manageable pieces. Then you define the activity, what activity we have to perform to develop that work, and then you can assign the work to the individuals. Now once the project manager and team have broken down the work into manageable elements, then the project manager assign the works to the organizational units. Now what it means, the organizational units means what? You have to prepare an organizational breakdown structure. This structure specifies the type of organizational chart that shows which organizational unit are responsible for which work items. The structure defines the organizational chart. In that chart, it shows the which organizational unit. For example, engineers, the project managers, the deputy managers, subcontractors. So, which organizational unit have which responsibility? Which organizational units are responsible for which work item? Okay, this is about the project organizational chart. Now next tool and technique is responsibility assignment matrices. Now responsibility assignment matrix RAM. This matrix maps the work of the project which already described in WBS. It maps the work of the project to people responsible for performing that particular work. Means what? They are showing the, it is a one matrix which shows the project activities, WBS activities, and it shows the OBS activities. Means what? Organizational breakdown structure. Means what? They assign the activity to the people. They defines which work of the work of the project are assigned to which unit or which resources. For example, you can say this chart. It maps the WBS activities to the OBS units. Means the WBS activities, it maps the work of this project to the people responsible for performing that particular work. Now next is nothing but a, so this for every large project, it is more effective to assign the work to the organizational units or teams. Now you can use this RAM or responsibility assignment matrix to define the general roles and responsibilities on project. You can define the general roles and responsibilities of the project using RAM. So this type of RAM can include the stakeholders, and some organizations show the four key roles for project stakeholders by using the RACI chart. This type of RAM include the stakeholders in the project, and RACI chart is used to show the four key roles for project stakeholders. Now, what are those roles? RACI, responsibility, accountability, consultation, and the next last one is informed. Now first is responsibility. What is responsibility? Who does the task? Means what this role says, that the role is primarily responsible for performing the work required for that particular activity. The responsibility, or the what this role says, that the one who have this role, that responsibility role, as primary responsible for performing the work required for that activity. The next is accountability. Who signs off on the task or has the authority for it? Means what? The role is they have to held accountable for that activity's output, deliverables, or artifacts. They have to sign off. His role is to check all the outputs or deliverables or artifacts of that particular activity. The C, consultation. Who has information necessary to complete the task? So the role is an advisory position for the activity. They can advise, they can consult. I means inform. Who needs to be notified of task status and results? Means what the role is? The role will be kept in the loop as the activity is underway. Means what? There is a quite flexibility in the responsibility used. So these are the four roles of the stakeholders and the project stakeholders. Okay, if his role is responsibility, then the role is he is primarily responsible for performing that particular activity. If the accountability, then he has to check all the outputs and deliverables of that activity. If his role is consultation, it means the role is they have the advisory position, means they can consult, give the advice to that particular activity. And inform is they can kept in a loop as the activity is underway. Here you can see the sample of RACI chart. The example shows that mm, there are multiple R, C, or I entries, but there is be only one A entry per row, which means what? A entry which says that he is accountable for activities output. Means what? A entry per row to clarify who is accountable for each task. For example, mechanic is responsible for repairing a car, but the shop owner is accountable for repairs being made properly or not. So these are the roles of stakeholders. Next tool and technique is staffing management plans and resources histograms. A staffing management plan describes when and how the people will be added to the project team and taken off it. Means what? Staffing management plan describes how and through what method we can the people needed for the project will be acquired. Okay, means what? Which method we can use to assign the people, to develop a staff, to acquire the staff, which may include both the employees internal to the performing organization and external to it. So this is a staffing management plan. It provides how the methods can be used, or through what methods we can assign the new people or the people needed for the project will be acquired. So we can say that it describes when and how the people will be added to the project team and taken it off. Okay, so it also needs, so we can see the example. If an IT project is expected to need the 100 people on average over a year, the staffing management plan describes the type of the people needed to work on the project, such as the Java programmer, business analyst, and technical writers, and the number of each type of person needed each month. The plan will also describe how these resources will be acquired, trained, rewarded, and reassigned after the project. So they should plan these things. How to acquire the team, which methods we have to use to acquire the team, what are the needs of the project, the skills, the people have the skills or not, what kind of skilled people we need to succeed our projects. They have to plan all these things. Also, it also needs to describe how these resources will be acquired, trained, rewarded, and reassigned after the project. So all these issues are important to meeting the needs of the project, the employees, and the organization. Now, the next one is the staffing management plan also includes a resource histogram. Now, what it means? It means a column chart that shows the number of resources assigned to a project over time. A column chart that shows a number of resources, how many resources we have, which are assigned to project over a time. By using this sample resource histogram, you can understand what is resource histogram. They show that the period of the time and number of people. The period of the time, how many number of people we need for the period project over a time, or that period of the time. So this figure says that the column represents the number of people needed in each area. For example, the manager, the business analyst, the programmers. Okay, so this is also one of the technique used for developing a project, developing the human resource plan. So just go through the what is developing the human resource plan. Developing the human resource plan is nothing but, in this plan they have to identify the processes, they have to document the project roles and responsibilities, what are the tools and techniques. The tools and techniques is the project organizational chart. Here you have to define the work, you have to assign the processes to that work. The next is tool and technique is responsibility assignment matrices. The next is RACI chart you can use. And the third technique is staffing management plan and resource histograms. These processes, tools and techniques you can use to develop the human resource plan.